Hello everybody, welcome to the review of round 13 and preview of round 14. It was a massive day or massive weekend for all the rucks in the bad weather that we had. But we are in the middle of, or we started winter and now we're in the middle of the bye rounds. Only two teams had the bye last week. Didn't affect too many teams. That is if you did choose your team, of course. But anyway, let's have a look at the first game. And it is the Maltese Falcons continuing their runs of losses, losing to the Bombers forever, 387 to 435. A welcome win for the Bombers, who look set to have a few stars return in the coming weeks. Falcons, well, they've dropped to 9th in the ladder now, and their run of bad form continues. Their best three, well, they were Nick Blakey, who was phenomenal at a halfback as 84. Sam Walsh looks to have found some form after his bye, and he got 60 in the mid. And Green, as usual, got his stats and got 92 as utility. Bombers, they had a big score, 435, and they had a great performance, led all around really, but they were led brilliantly by Witts in the ruck. He got 64, and Roddick Bottom was just as good as a tackler with 66. Also, as a halfback, Caleb Daniel was very good. He got 60. Optimised lineups, they show a closer contest. Both pretty good scores in that one. Falcons able to put English to utility. And then Blickfars would have got into the ruck. Some other positional changes in that one. While the Bombers, they would have brought in Sheasel to utility, and also Chera would have come into the game. Bont would have been dropped amazingly. Hasn't been in good form lately. Not a good time for me to get in Super Coach, but that happens. Anyway, next game, it was a very, very low-scoring contest. It was between, well, now, 8th and 10th. A bit like the Northern Eagles game in Bunbury, really, wasn't it? Low-scoring, bottom of the ladder. Anyway, Second Destroy, they got the win over Punters Paddock. 346.5 to 318.5. Punters Paddock moved to the bottom of the ladder. Second Destroy jump up 2 places. Second Destroy, they were led by Gorn, who wasn't getting blasted by his teammates, got 49 in the ruck. Same score there for Drew as a tackler. And Nick Haynes as a halfback got 53. Punters, their inconsistency continues. One big score, one low score. And that's the reason why they're sitting on bottom of the ladder. They were led brilliantly by Dawson, though. He got 95.5 as utility. Big Lloyd Meek in the ruck got 53. And the other standout, well, the participation award, should we say, that can go to Sidebottom in the midfield with 45. Optimised lineups, a massive, massive difference here. Punters would have actually got the win. 439 points, and Second Destroy would have almost got 400. For Second Destroy, Gorn would have gone to utility, and Stanley would have come into the ruck. And also the forwards would have changed as well for them. For Punters, the Charles Royce would have come in at full forward. And Laird would have got in the game, and what's his name? Dawson would have moved to tackler. From Howe would have gone to utility because Howe had a big game also. So anyway, third game, it is the game of the round, and let's have a look at the game around. Once again, it is the Gators who feature in the game of the round. Another high-scoring game, another close game. The percentage will be pretty bad, really, if you're running off percentages for and against, because all games are close. But this time, Sugar Daddies, their winning run comes to an end. They lost 380.5 to 388.5. Gators closed the gap in the top 5 with that one. A loss for Gators would have actually put them 3 games gap to 3rd and 4th spot, and would have behind Sugar really, and would have been, so that was a much needed win for the Gators in that one. Sugar Daddies, their best 3, well, the usual suspects really, and we can probably keep these 3 people here every single week. It was Dale as a halfback with 65. Rao as a tackler, he got 56. And Big Sherry in the ruck, 93.5 in utility. Shout out to Darcy Parish as well on his return. He got a pretty good score too. The Gators continued the theme of the dominant ruckmans in this round. Grundy got 59 as a ruck. Newcomb was looped into utility with 95.5. And Lockie Ash continued, sharing the ball in the GWS backline. He got 56 as a follower. Optimised lineups for this one, same result. However, Sugar Daddies would have brought in Simpkin and Stewart as the forward spots. Sherry would have gone to the ruck as Martin would have gone to utility. For Gators, big score of around 450. Butters would have come in to utility spot. Lockie Ash would have gone to the halfback with a big score there. And Myers continues his good form and would have come into the half forward spots. Anyway, let's move to the next game. And this next game, let's not spend too much time with it because one of the coaches really did take the bye round to heart. The Gods, they extended their lead at the top of the table and now pretty much just about guaranteed a final spot if you think about it. Gods, they got 396 to the Rangers 237. Gods, they're led by McCurchin, who got 60 as a follower, and he looks to have moved back to his position where he was last year, where he actually had a pretty dominant season, or stat dominant season, should I say. Dacos comes to halfback with 63, and Rosie as a utility, we've got 100.5, so he did a fantastic score as well and led from the front. Rangers, well, they were led by the bye, led their team this week. Big Riley, he was okay as well, got a ruck with 52, and that will do for his team. When you almost just scored 200, not many players had a good game. Optimised lineups for this one. Warner would have moved to full forward. He would have come in for the Elijah Hewitt would have come in for the Gods as well. While Rangers, pick your changes. Saligo comes into utility, George Arlis and Train to go to the forward line. And also a few others would have come into that team as well to give it a pretty competitive score. Last game, an upset. We've seen an upset in this one. It's the Renegades who, let's be honest, their own coach declared them dead as soon as a couple of players went missing. They actually got the win over second place El Diablos, who, must say, young Dash was very gracious in his defeat. Renegades, they got the win 349 to 335. Renegades, they stay in touch with the 5, while the El Diablos stay a game clear in second spot. Renegades were led by Oliver in the midfielder. In the midfield was 60. Max Holmes could have gone anywhere really, but he was a half forward, got 45. And TDK utility at 89.5. El Diablos, their 3 best was Keezer with 47.5 forward. Hope he doesn't do that this week. Both fronts against the Hawks and against me. McGluggage in the midfield, 63. And the Premiership Ruckman, Darcy Fort, got 48 in the ruck. Optimised lineups, Renegades, well, they would have moved Heaney into the forward line and Holmes would have gone to utility. Durham would have also come in, but now he's gone out because he's suspended. El Diablos, they would have brought in Connor Nash. I don't want no Connor Nash. Duggan and Parker would have also come into the team. Now, quickly, let's have a look at the team of the round. 565.5 this week. Chol would have been the full forward. Blakey at half forward. English would have been the utility and Witts would have been the ruck. Midfielders would have been Max Holmes and Josh Dacos. Halfbacks would have been Howe and Rowbottom was the tackler of the round with a big tackler score there. The ladder, no change at all to the top 7. Bombers, Gators and Renegades did close the gap by 1 game to 3rd and 4th, which is Rangers and Sugar Daddies. All the actions at the bottom of the ladder this week. Seek and Destroy move up 2 places. Punters go back to the bottom. And Fennick, I know you're not used to it, but that's 9th on the ladder. That's second bottom. Not quite the bottom, but in this game anyway, you're not used to it. So yeah, that's where you are there. But only 3 games do separate bottom of the ladder. Punters Paddock to 3rd, Rangers Anonymous. 7 games to go now. 28 points are up for grabs in this one. If Gators, Bombers or Renegades all lose this week, so Gators, Bombers and Renegades, should I say, all lose this week means the Gods are guaranteed a final spot, but let's be honest, really it's a formality with the amount of gap they've got on the competition at the moment. All right, let's go to round 14 now. This week we have 4 teams with the bye. They are the Pies, the Suns, the Swans, and the Tigers. All have the bye. So no doubt Punters Paddock will be licking his lips because they'll be playing Rangers and hopefully Rangers get their team done. Be much needed win for Punters too. Second Destroy, they play Renegades. Sugar Daddies play Falcons. Gators and El Diablo. And Bombers also play the Gods are the other 4 games. So let's have a look at it. Second Destroy playing Rangers. Renegades, should I say? I always mix those two up. Seek and Destroy, their main losses to the bye are Nick Dacos and Jamie Elliott, who have been playing in their team last few weeks. Sinclair and Clark do come back into that lineup, though, and Horn Francis should be available from injury. Renegades, they're losing Nank, Heaney, and Noble all to the bye. Higgins will return for them, and there is a fitness test for Bailey Smith and James Warple. Seek and Destroy, at the moment they've got Gunston in as a loophole, and Renegades have got West. Both have some other options, but what we're going to do is just going to go with whoever's there at the moment for each team. If it looks like they've done it, I'll just tell you who's there. Otherwise, I'll guess who's going to go in that position. But we'll leave that for now. Just try to cut some time because I'm doing this very late on Wednesday night. Sugar Daddies, they play Falcons. One's in good form, one's in bad forms. Falcons, though, will be happy to see that Sugar Daddies are missing a few of their key players this week to the bye. They have Darcy Cameron out, Took Miller out, and Matt Rao all out for the bye. And Harry Mackay is a test against West Coast. So good time to come back and fix some injuries, isn't it? Falcons, they lose Blakey this week to the bye, but Tracy is back, as is Luke Jackson. Callahan is also a fitness test. At the moment, both teams have their loophole players in of Thursday night's game with Bailey Dale for Sugar and Libba for Falcons. Let's go to game 3. It is the Gators versus El Diablos. And Gators, they're losing a player who's been in some great form the last few weeks in Brody Grundy. Houston is also out, and Ned Long, who's been a pretty good tackler since he got picked up in the mid-season draft. He's out, and James Peatling is actually suspended. Watson is a test for him. El Diablos, they lose a few forwards here in King, Long, and Lynch, but they do get back Sarong and Ryan from the bye. Toby Green is also a test. Gators are going to loophole John Newcomb in this one, whereas El Diablos, they have no one in there at the moment, but they could opt for a few players in Friday night's game in Nash, Amon, or Keys. And then, look, the first game on Saturday, which is Jervis and the Lions, they've got 5 players in that game too. All right. Fourth game, Punters are versing the Rangers, as we mentioned. Punters, they lose Sidebottom, Myercheck, and Howe all to the bye, but they do get Callum Wilkie back. Rangers, Anderson, Hopper, Taranto, and Boston all have the bye this week. They have been stalwarts in their team for the season. Bolton and Still are back, though. Punters currently have Ed Richards in the loophole, which looks like he hasn't done his team yet, but that probably is a good choice. Trelaw, Wilkie, Dawson, Laird, and Scholl are other options for them. Rangers, well, Jack Still is there, but that's because he was benched last week because he had the bye and was chosen the team. But Jack Still is probably the best option, to be honest with you. Last game, Bombers versus the Gods. Bombers, they lose Mill, Rowbottom, Witts, and Roberts to the bye. But Jack McRae looks like he's back from the bye and the injury, so he'll be chosen this week, no doubt, against his former side. Sam Darcy is also back from injury as well. Gods lose Warner and Josh Dacos to the bye, but they get back 3 players in Nasiah Wanganeen Malira, Angus, Andrew Brayshaw, whichever one it is, and Roll Marshall is back. Jaden Short is also a test. Loops are in place. They're both same players. One's McRae against the Doggies, and Marshall is also the loophole. So that's it for the round 13 review and round 14 preview. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a great weekend. And just a quickly shout out. She's outside, so I haven't got it now. But to my little girl Melly, she is now a teenager because this will be shown to you on Thursday, the 12th of June. My little girl's a teenager. Happy birthday, Melly. See you guys.